The bliss of the abyss, it's here now.
Right.
So I wanted the running.
Right. My it's not chagrin, is it? That's shame.
Yes, and?
My chagrin, but also something completely different.
My chagrin.
My chagrin. It wasn't that. My
So
regret.
follow the fan.
My regret was piqued by.
Sorry.
That's good. That's good.
Completely derailed.
That's good. That's good.
And
Heavy
we caught-
sacks of shale.
Should be brave enough to fire against the Emperor, then do so. Otherwise, lay down your weapons. And the entire opposing side just like come over and join this thing.
Oh,
Pretty boss move.
mate,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. What's that quote from him? Once I tasted command, I knew I would never relinquish it.
Fucking hell.
I think he was a very driven man.
How old was he when he tasted command?
Very, very young.
Why?
Because he was from a military.
Napoleon.
He was from a military family who enrolled him in the military, and he rose rapidly through the ranks of the military.
I see.
Due to him being excellent at it. For example, he conquered all of Europe.
Couldn't quite get Russia though, could he?
No,
there we
but he
go.
got all the way to the capital, which
Yeah.
he didn't sack. He was like on the outskirts, and they were like, burn it.
Yeah, they sacked it themselves, didn't they?
Destroyed a third of the buildings in their own capital.
He shall inherit nothing but ashes.
Yeah, and they're like, all the guys living there being like, what are ashes? Are you our ruler? What are you saying?
The scorched earth policy. It's very, very tough for the people whose earth's being scorched. Please, not us. Well,
Somebody's earth's got to be scorched.
Yeah.
So then he got there and he's like, what the fuck? So he had to like march back. He didn't
Yeah.
actually lose. He just marched back to Paris being like,
These Russians are
they're
mental.
crazy.
I guess
he
we
writes in
don't
his
need
biography, you've got to respect it. The Russian. But it's the same route back.
Yeah.
So they're going through all these battles that they've previously done where they never buried their dead.
Yeah.
stinks.
Buzzkill. Oh look, it's Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It takes away some of the shine of. Yeah, sure, we won, but should we take a different route? No.
Yeah. It's the quickest route. Yeah.
Yeah. But
If you're going to conquer Europe,
Which
Go
I
on.
am.
are you spending?
which I have.
Are you spending all of your... do you have downtime? If you don't have downtime, are you like one of those people who is always working on like your next thing?
Oh, he did like loads of architectural changes.
Oh,
he,
that's
he,
so good.
He created the
That's so
Napoleonic Code of Law, which is like the dominant approach to law on the continent.
You know, imagine having him in the house. Imagine having him in the house. Hey man, we've got dinner in 10 minutes. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it tonight. What are you doing? It's Code of Laws tonight.
Yeah, I'm changing the basis of law.
I've decided
in
to
Europe.
change the calendar. Fuck's sake! For fuck's sake!
Yeah,
It's meant to be games night.
Yeah. Oh mate.
Bonaparte.
It's gonna be Catan.
Boney. When do you ever give time just for yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom and I were just saying that in Cults of Personality, and Alexander the Great had a big thing about how he like became Asian. That was like part of the.
It was a big court. Did he have eunuchs? Maybe
He had. Do you
I
know
know he
the-
looked towards the east.
He spent almost all his time there, didn't he?
He spent
'Cause
almost all
was-
his time in these. He both looked to and then went into the
Stayed
Bracy. The
reason he
Bracy
was
of going was.
The reason he was looking there was that's where he was.
There was a certain point where he had to look west, but he wasn't happy about
Like
it.
how I'm looking in Brixton.
That's the thing. He got to India. He got to like the Hindu Kush, and then he was like, "Oh fucking hell, this is way too far for me, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn
A
around."
long way from home there.
Yeah.
There's east and then there's east. kind of
Also, it's
thing.
like all of it, or whatever it was, however many thousands of Macedonians were like marching with him, must have been freaked the fuck out. Because
Yeah.
the only reason they're there is because of him. You know,
Yeah.
like him and his personality.
That's big cult personality stuff.
Yeah.
I
He's
think
like 25.
I think I'm quite susceptible to it.
And just winning it. Do you think?
I think so.
Susceptible to trying to develop your own cult of
No,
personality.
if someone like came along, I'd be like, yeah, all right, I ain't got that much going on.
Who have you fallen into that
Just
dynamic with?
Obama.
Obama? Absolutely
I
not.
swear to
Absolutely
Tom
not.
subscribed to his podcast.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I genuinely thought today, as I went past the Finsbury Park Starbucks, is that Obama? I looked in and I saw a guy who looked just like Obama. And I was like, is Obama in the Starbucks in Finsbury Park?
Yeah.
And I was like,
It's his next
no,
initiative.
probably not.
I'm just in London for some meetings.
Yeah, he had the
gonna-
greying later stage, Obama.
Yeah.
That's a better Obama. That's better. It's better than Nobel Peace Prize Obama.
It's all good.
No, it's not all good.
I got no problems with Obama, man.
What about his podcast with Springsteen?
I mean, I haven't listened to it. It's
I'm not.
Well, that's my point.
I'm not
No one has.
touching that thing.
I got no problem with it. It's very much
Renegades.
It's very much for people who
Oh, is
watch
that what it's
Tom
called?
Hanks movies on Apple TV, isn't it? It's like
Big time.
I watched a trailer for one of them. The world's greatest war. It started. I was like,
What does that
thing to
mean?
say.
What does? Which war was it?
The battle for the Atlantic in World War II. The U-boats.
It's not the world's greatest war.
I think World War II, maybe.
Isn't
Well, but wasn't World War One called the Great War?
Great War?
Yeah, and then this is the greatest.
This
war.
is
like when they have to
Yeah.
come up with a sequel.
This is
I know
rebranding.
they're the greatest generation, or at least that's how they. That's a bit of a cheeky thing to brand.
Did they
yourself,
call
though.
themselves that?
You have to imagine who the other people aren't going to call them it.
Previous one. You're so great.
Is the
Yeah,
greatest
it's
generation
like-
the pre-war generation? No, sorry, the post-war generation.
Yeah, right.
The boom.
They're
boomers.
before the boomers.
Before the boomers.
The boomers are the next
The ones
one.
who fought in Normandy, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, right.
Who are the silent generation? It's quite a rinse of a name.
Silent generation is the interwar generation.
Well,
is that
yeah.
right?
The ones who didn't know how to ask. Yeah.
Is it like they're?
Deep cut.
Is it like they're 10 by the time World War II?
Rob, what's the podcast concept, approach, vibe?
Here's what it is. You,
Me.
Jem,
Yeah.
me,
Going on.
the Neumarx brothers.
You're driving the bus though, right?
Well, if it's a
You're
bus,
looking for a cult of personality.
I don't have an
Right.
HGV license, if that's what you mean.
No, I more mean you're gonna like intro us. Are there features? Is there like segments?
Tom, allow me to blow your mind.
Wacky doodles.
We've been recording the whyou time.
The whole time. The only thing that's going to stay in the cut is FIFA. Just you two playing FIFA. What do you think about that? There's like, you know that... do either of you know Loyal Kana? You know that rapper? Do you know him?
Yes.
Okay, one of
Just
his...
say yes, Tom, is the thing.
One
Yes,
of his
and.
things is, he's like, especially in, I think it's his first album, he's like got voice notes in it.
Right.
Where he's been in a taxi and he's like, so what's your fucking deal? And then like the guy talks to him for a bit. He's like got the penalties shootout from when I think we beat Colombia in 2018 in the World Cup. Stuff like that. It's like candid moments.
Yeah.
Stuff like Tom talking about, you know, I don't know, what would it be for you?
For Tom,
Yeah, something to do with your policy on
Obama,
eggs.
maybe eggs or protein powder. He spilled protein powder. Yeah, I called it.
You spilled protein powder on yourself.
My protein pouch burst.
Oh, mate. What's the protein
Spill-
pouch?
See, Jem didn't Jem didn't go to the gutter like I did, and you did.
His
To be
butthole
fair.
or his dick sack?
Sure.
No.
They're close though. What are they connected by? The protein pouch.
Yeah. I've got a lot of flax on me. Look,
That's your preferred.
It's very bioavailable.
I'm
Actually,
stained.
I don't know if I want to talk about protein on a podcast.
Are you sure? You've
I'm
probably got a lot of opinions.
Very,
as well.
very, very much on the edge of what I find acceptable content. I think
I think about protein a lot.
you've thought about it a lot more recently.
Yeah, it's because of this vegan thing. It's a constant
I think
struggle.
They're definitely enmeshed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not very bioavailable without animals, basically. So you got to go down the pulse and the bean route, or the powder and the seed.
Tom sent me something about how apparently beans aren't protein.
They're not
Beans
yeah.
are a source of carbs, not protein.
No, but they do have. Yeah, but they
They have protein in. Try hitting your protein goals on beans, mate.
No.
I don't know how I would hit my. I don't know how to set and hit those goals.
0.8
'Cause you're just
grams
on
per pound.
steroids?
No one is marking me.
I am.
It drives me
A
mad.
plus.
It drives me absolutely mad. That workout program that I've just started, I did it the other day and I was like, I could easily come out the back of 4 months of doing this and basically look no different.
Yeah.
And then within about a week, just slide back to where I was.
Yeah.
And then just be there. And I wouldn't know. And also, it's like, honestly, the diet guide, the diet guide for this thing, I read it. It contradicts literally everything that Tom sends me, and also basically everything that I've heard people talk about.
What is it? The food pyramid?
It's like carbs.
Is it
like
eat a lot of pasta and bread?
Sugar.
They're just like eat.
Mars bars, fine.
Yeah.
Go for
With
it.
the dick vein?
It feels
They're
good.
the dick vein, yeah. Chug up on those things.
Chugging on my dick.
Chug on your dick vein.
That's the title for the episode.
Chugging on my dick vein like you wanted me, calling me. It's like, it's all of this stuff, like, and it gets in your head so fucking quickly. That's the worst thing. It's like, don't eat more than a palm full of protein at a time. It's like, I've never measured with my palm protein.
That's very much the American way of measuring. It's never kilograms, millimeters. It's like 3 football pitches worth, 2 refrigerators.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Yeah.
Stick's quite a weird vibe, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're cups.
Stick of butter, isn't it?
Stick of butter, yeah.
Even weirder, I think. Sorry. Yes, and equally as weird, and it's also that is actually a standardized measurement
A cup.
In America.
in America, but yeah, a cup.
How many mil in a cup? Both of you.
I know.
Right here.
What a mill of what?
No.
Mill of what? Is that how it works?
I reckon it's 250 mil.
It's 120.
You're both wrong.
What?
Sure.
Tom's pretty close.
Oh,
It's just under 300.
really?
You were thinking of half a cup.
I was thinking of a stick. One. Also, you know, they say scant. Are you aware of scant?
No.
You can have a cup, and then you can have a rounded cup, and then you can also have a scant cup.
Oh, like a heaped tablespoon kind of thing.
Exactly, but scant is the opposite.
Right.
It's
Concave.
like a concave tablespoon.
Yeah.
A thumb of ginger? Quite into that.
Quite into that. Yeah.
When is it not a thumb of ginger? It's always a thumb.
It's often a
It
thumb.
might as well just say ginger.
Ointment is always pea-sized as well.
Yeah.
A pea-sized amount of ointment.
It's quite good. You know, actually peas, they're an okay source of protein.
Really?
Hence pea protein.
Edamame, especially good.
As they are, or do you have to turn them into some kind of weird powder?
What's the
that you then
difference
carry
between a pea
around?
and a bean, which you just rubbished a second ago? Edamame is surely just a bean or a pea.
They're the
Pea's not a
only.
pulse.
They're the only ones I would. They're the only ones I would allow as a protein source.
I would allow. You ate chickpeas for dinner yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's
That was
wrong to
all
eat
we get.
chickpeas. I'm saying if you're really
Revealing quite a
pursuing,
lot of
if you're really pursuing your
candid
protein goals,
Yeah. How often would you say that you hit your goals?
See, do you see what
Protein
you're
or,
doing?
protein or otherwise?
Now you're talking about the very thing you didn't want to.
Yeah.
Look at you're
Yeah.
encouraging the content you hate.
You know, I've been getting really into this psilocybin stuff recently, and I'm trying a lot of vitamins, and you know,
Before
I'm really
Tom,
into
you're
bioavailable.
wrong. Fava beans.
Baba.
Baba.
Fava.
what are you saying?
The legume with the highest protein.
It's not the highest protein. It's the highest protein per calorie.
We're doing it.
It's not the highest protein per gram. It's the highest protein per calorie.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to close my phone and not talk about that. Okay?
Diet advice. Tom's got a notebook on his table with some notes.
just says
and it's fast becoming clear to me that each one of those is going to be something like protein per calorie spread out.
Don't look at the book.
Does anyone want to hear my one of my notes?
Here we go. Okay, all
Are we
right.
actually recording?
I think probably like half an hour at this point. No, 10 minutes.
Do you want to hear my?
It's so different.
Sure.
It's so different.
Here we go.
Here's one. The reality of airing grievances. I've written down.
I brought this up earlier.
Did you? Yes, it was
What?
because you. Yeah.
That sounds like airing agreements.
This was my notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because here's why I brought it up. Egg sandwiches were offered.
Oh.
Tom threw a curveball, said he wouldn't need an egg sandwich. At that point, egg sandwiches were withdrawn.
I can't believe how
and
quickly they
Jem
were withdrawn.
Was you know what I ate? An egg sandwich. It was so good. That's where the grievance is. I think that's where it originated from as a talking point.
What did you have in it?
With the egg sandwich,
Yeah.
it was an English muffin,
Okay.
butter, ketchup, a Burford brown, toasted, salt, pepper.
But I'm talking, what form did the egg take?
Sunny side up.
You had a McMuffin.
Yes. this.
Okay. All right. Actually, that makes me feel better. I don't want that.
Unbelievable.
Time to air the first grievance.
Are you saying if you'd have arrived and I just served you up that fresh McMuffin, you'd have... I actually had a slice of Emmental in there as well.
Oh, that sounds good. You know what I'd have done? I'd have eaten it and then just deep inside of myself been like, I'm kind of unhappy with how that turned out. But I'm not going to say anything about it.
What's your preferred sandwich egg?
It's because of the way I cook the egg, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Snobby cunt.
I wanted hard-boiled.
Ah! You're so German.
Interesting. Go on.
Hard-boiled mayo. That's what I wanted.
Okay.
I wanted
That's what you're in the.
the Americans
more of
call
a
an egg
lunch
salad.
kind of sandwich.
You're in the market for a
I
egg
get it.
salad sandwich.
I was more in a breakfast sandwich mood.
Right.
So I wanted the runny.
Right. My it's not chagrin, is it? That's shame.
Yes, and
My chagrin, but also something completely different.
My chagrin.
My chagrin. It wasn't that. My regret.
Follow the fan.
My regret was piqued by.
Sorry.
That's good. That's good.
Completely derailed.
That's good. That's good.
Airing of grievances. Your chagrin.
It was piqued by the fact that as that text conversation was happening, I was watching Patty eat the last pre-boiled egg that we had in the house, while I was also kind of hurriedly pointing out that we had to go.
and
So
she was being like, I hate eggs.
Yeah.
I'm doing this to myself.
So I was so bland. Please.
Don't worry, luckily I have an egg sandwich waiting for me.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, we gotta get down there. And when we get down there, I can have my egg sandwich.
Why do you have so many pre-boiled eggs in your house?
Yeah, it sounds like
The way it sounds, it's like the last of our pre-boiled eggs make it sound like you buy 12 and immediately boil 6.
Since going out with Patty,
Yeah.
I've pre-boiled a lot more than I used to.
Is this a
I'm
Danish
pre-boiling
thing, then?
potatoes, I'm pre-boiling eggs.
Wow. What the fuck?
What? Yeah. It changes your life.
So you can make a cold mayonnaise salad. This is what this is.
Cold salads. That's my thing.
With
My thing.
pre-boiled foods.
With pre-boiled
You're
food.
getting ready for a harsh winter where there will be few crops.
Yeah, man, it's always hard. Yeah, exactly. Pickling some stuff along the way, You
did actually teach me. He taught me how to pickle cucumbers.
I bury
weird.
a lot of my food in case of a particularly hard winter.
Yeah.
Just have to dig it up. Then I always forget where it is. Rabbits and squirrels start coming from the neighbourhood.
What was the thing that
Feasting on my sauerkraut.
Squirrels don't remember where they buried the stuff.
Squirrels get a tough rap for this. Okay, there's a lot of scientific research saying that they're idiots, and they just bury.
Produced by the anti-squirrel.
But that's my
Produced by other rodents.
Yeah,
They just want to take them down a peg.
I was trying to think who's the enemy of the squirrel. Rats?
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
So, who is your friend?
Who's the friend of the squirrel? As in, who's its enemy's enemy?
Exactly.
You'd have to be
Who's the enemy of
squirrel.
the rat? The mouse, maybe.
The trap, surely.
The rat trap.
Is the enemy of the rat.
Yeah. Are there rat traps?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh man.
Have
I
you
thought
seen
you had to engage in
Have you never trapped a rat?
Mortal Kombat.
to the death?
The rat.
I've used a rat trap.
I thought it was poison with rats.
I know a rat. You can use poison.
Yeah.
Depends how severe your problem is.
Do you know the drawback with poison?
Babies eat it.
Enters the ecosystem.
They die in your house.
And then they smell.
And then they smell, and it's often quite hard to find them. So you just have to live with this incredibly putrid smell for weeks.
When I was living at Palmer's
Yeah, except for
after
some
drama
bad-
school, so sort of mid to late 20s, I guess.
It's late
There was a
1920s.
red mid to late 1920s. There was a rat problem.
they called it.
They eat through everything. So we put up metal grates.
please. Yeah.
And the next day you go and check on it and be like, well, the metal grate's been eaten. You're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's just a rodent.
Fair play.
It's destroyed.
They're big though as well. That's the thing. They're chunky boys.
Yeah.
They're like.
And they're not really scared of humans, so you'd be sat
They're not
there
at all scared
and you'd be
of
like,
humans.
what's that noise? You'd be like, that's the rats eating your
Yeah.
house inside out. Okay. Can we...
Do you know there's that
Sorry,
thing
right, which
sometimes? It's like the rats if they get stuck in the grate, another rat will come along and eat their head and stuff like that.
Dominance display.
They're just
Wait, is it dominance display? Or is it one of those if a coyote dies, they do the call, and the call is for other coyotes to be like, breed, so that we have more of us.
really.
Yeah.
Horny. So as soon as they hear that
It's like, we're down a few,
they get
let's
aroused.
get going.
Time to fuck.
Yeah. So So their numbers are really high because of
I
that.
actually have the opposite response to a dead coyote. It really kills my buzz. It's just one of the ways.
You don't roll in it?
Just one of the ways I'm different to the coyotes.
Yeah. Do you remember how, like, Larkin or any of our female dogs, if there's a dead fox or shit, they just roll in it?
Mm.
That's like their thing. That's their reaction to it.
Is that as an aphrodisiac, or is that to pass themselves off as whatever they've rolled themselves in?
Or just piss
Like
us
a kind of camouflage?
I roll myself.
Good question.
If ever I see a smash bottle of CK1, I roll myself in it. Similar vibe.
Yeah.
Just like bathe me in this.
Happens quite often, does it?
Duty free just before you get on the flight.
Yeah.
Oh, God! Walking through with all those samplers, like rubbing yourself in those tiny little white sticks that they give you. I'm full of it, man.
Where are you dead?
Airing grievances.
I think the thing of it is, you often think, right, I'm going to air them,
Yeah.
and you people are going to listen.
Mm.
People, obviously, actually it turns out they have far more legitimate grievances against you that are often the cause of your grievance, and then they tell you about them.
Right.
And you're like, right, I was like going to go on the offensive. Like, I was going to come in here and be like, how come you guys did the eggs? And they're like, well, how come you still owe me $2,000? And you're like, oh, well, I didn't really want to talk about that.
It's
And,
Pandora's box. If you open up the grievances,
yeah,
they're going to
it's a
come
grievance
at
free
you.
for all.
Yeah.
And people aren't just meekly like, oh, sorry, bud.
So you've got to come ready with multiple grievances.
Or just repress all your feelings and then just see how it goes.
Scrunch them down into a
Yeah.
ball deep inside of you that will grow into a tumour.
And then air them just before you die. Don't give everyone else a chance. I hate you all, goodbye.
Really specific ones.
Yeah.
That didn't sound that specific.
Yeah.
It's a big grievance.
You never tuck in the kitchen chairs, and you never dry off the plates like that. And then
Yeah.
You don't do the dishwasher right.
Yeah.
Good last words.
Yeah, famous last words.
Poignant.
I have always been at a disadvantage, especially with like partners when you're having arguments with them. I am unable to store up grievances. I'm not saying that's the thing that makes me superior.
Yeah.
For ammunition in a fight.
I forget almost everything the minute I'm in a stress situation like that. I know that they're there. I cannot remember a single one.
You just start doing P90X.
I'm just doing P90X.
The only way.
I can't remember it because I'm in the middle of doing P90X.
When I lived in Camden, I often see drunk people arguing. And my observation was, you don't actually have to have that much in the tank going into the argument, because quite quickly you can just argue about the way
argument.
that the other person is doing the
Someone
argument.
raised their voice. Someone
Don't interrupt
used
me
a tone.
when I'm talking.
Exactly. Yeah. The rules
going
of the
right.
argument are now more important than
Yeah,
whatever the
like it's just
substance
a pure
was.
form of arguments. It's just it doesn't have to be about anything. It's just conflict.
Yeah.
Like, why are you being so aggressive with me?
In a way,
like that.
that's better. Because
Yeah, hard to resolve.
no, but the next day you can be like, oh, it was just about some bullshit. It's kind of easier to brush it off. It'd be like, what were we arguing about? I don't know. You were like raised your voice and you said
just
I was
drunk.
I was just drunk. Yeah. Whereas the substance actually might have been something much more contentious.
Right. Saying things that you later regret.
Yeah. Those are much worse.
I so regret saying, why are you shouting at me?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Hard to take that with you. She wasn't even shouting at me.
Are you, Tom, are you a sayer of, like, mindlessly nasty comments when you're drunk? I cannot imagine you being like
No,
that
that's
at
not
all.
Tom's vibe. I've done that.
I can imagine you saying that, because you're
Thanks,
like,
mate.
yeah.
High five.
You
Not
smack
even
at that. You stink at
I can
that.
do it right now.
Yeah.
Talking about airing grievances.
I'm fucking drunk right now, man. I'll say whatever the fuck I want about
You've been on a stag
Yeah.
for the
on a
last
stag
3
do.
weeks.
the last 3 weeks.
Have you
It's either that or P90X.
Were any-
Those are the two.
were any grievances aired at the stag?
Good question.
No,
Anyone
but
cry and say they reminded you of their dad or something?
no.
It seemed like bonhomie.
It
You
was
did stand up. We have to hear about this.
Theatre.
It was bonhomie. It was relatively theatery. It was quite. There was a pre-stag, which was a surprise, and then there was the main stag. But one of the surprises for me on the main stag was the same people were at the pre-stag and the main stag, and there were no additions or subtractions really.
So that's not really a pre-stag.
Well, it didn't feel. It just felt like a kind of 2-day stag with the same group of people, but it had this kind of sense of like, ooh, doesn't know about the first one.
And was there a pause in the middle of the stag?
We all went home. We went, back to our beds, slept, and came back the next
I've not
day.
been part of a stag like that. That seems very civilised.
I call it a staggered stag.
Nice. There we go.
Have you guys ever had beef?
Or just
on
a staggered.
on a staggered?
Stag Ed.
I have never had beef on a stag, but I have saved beef from happening on a stag.
Yeah. It's like Rashomon. It's like, this is your interpretation.
Oh, what's Rashomon? I don't know what Rashomon is.
Yeah.
Oh, is it a philosophy?
It's that movie where you see it from the different perspectives.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
The same thing.
Yeah, different people remember it in different ways.
Grievances.
So like Rob will be like, he's like, look guys,
No.
you've all had a drink, not me, because my body is a temple, and I think you all make valid points.
Yeah.
But I think what we really need to focus on we love each other. So hug it out. And then like go to Chris's version of it, and Rob's got a machete. I will destroy you.
So I saved the stag. Chris. No, I'm not claiming that I single-handedly white knighted the stag. That's not what I'm saying. I was part of the. He's on to the next.
Take your turn.
If
He's
you're talking
taking
about
your turn.
airing grievances, I've got one right now.
Yeah, bring it out. He's taking a turn on Through the Ages.
Tom, put your fucking phone away. I was part of the redemption arc of the stag.
Okay.
Here's what happened.
Although, can I just point out that being part of the redemption arc could also be that you're the lowliest piece of shit in the world.
No.
That's the start of the redemption.
He
He died and was reborn and was mysteriously saved. Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Intense stag. How was the stag? One of the guys was crucified for being the
Yeah.
Lord. But, on the plus side,
Fourth day of the stag.
risen. With a body.
that.
Still with wounds.
Yeah.
Alright. It's intense. Yeah, Thomas was there getting his finger in the cut.
Coming out of my cave, and I've been doing just fine. No, here's what happened. Main evening entertainment finished around 11:30, and it was like, where should we go
stag,
next?
stag, stag.
A good portion of people were like, let's go home and end the party.
Interesting.
Yeah. That is so strong. Before midnight as well.
Before midnight, on the main night of the stag, it was like, I'm kind of done. Should we go to bed? And a big chunk were like, yeah. It's been nice. Yeah, good night. And the stag is not part of this crew. And he's like, I kind of want to keep having my stag.
Yeah.
So I was part of the group, a much smaller group that stayed with the stag and made sure he stagged on.
The other people just
You
left.
nobly continued to get wrecked
Yeah.
on someone's stag. Yeah, saving the stag.
Cannot-
You're like, you know what? I hate
was-
going out and having fun with my friends, but I'm willing to do it because it's your
Just this
special
once.
day.
That's one way of spinning it, sure.
It's actually very noble of you.
Well, I can't actually.
I'm a pretty noble guy.
I can't see how you save the beef, man. What the thing that
you.
sounds like? The thing that sounds like to me is
Yeah.
there was a stag do where some people decided to go home and you stayed out.
No,
That's
sure.
the way you phrase that. It doesn't sound in any way like there was a
Listen, Max Clifford.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Which bit? Which bit of him? Which bit?
He was on the stag.
yeah.
Yeah. I said to him, Max, listen here.
Nazi orgies, or is that Max Mosley?
That's
Yeah.
Mosley.
Clifford's young girls.
Clifford was PR guy
Yeah.
who
Kiss and tell stories.
kiss and
he'd-
tell
he'd
in
represent them,
tabloids
but
to
then,
ruin or build up people's
but then,
reps.
surprisingly, that guy was horrible in real life.
And he died in jail.
All right, that's how I want to go.
Tom, is that on your list?
Yeah.
I've
Crossing
got
that one out.
grievance.
Damn, they mentioned Max Clifford already. I had 20 minutes on that.
Who's next?
Thought experiments I've written down.
Okay.
Have we got to the bottom of airing grievances? I've got something to say about it.
You've got
Yeah.
grievance.
'Cause listen, man, I've got something to say to you.
Sie hören gerade The Bliss of the Abyss. Bliss of the Abyss.
What I think is,
Yeah, go on. Here's your take.
my feeling about airing grievances is, at the moment that I air the grievance, it changes completely in my mouth, and I'm almost unable to say really the thing that I'm intending to say.
Right.
I end up kind of like it's kind of like mealy mouthed, semi that. It's also got a lot of kind of like provisos in it. Yeah, mitigation,
quos.
quid pro
Very nice.
quos, stuff like that. You know, like. And I'm sure you already know that. I'm sure yeah.
One of the things that really annoys me, although to be fair, it doesn't annoy me that much, and it's not really your fault, is
Rob's attitude.
how
would
about
Napoleon do?
imagine someone who was trying to get over that, and the way they did it was they'd written down what they were going to say to you, and then someone saying, "Rob, look, this isn't easy to say, please don't interrupt while I read this out to you.
Yeah.
And sitting down in front of you and being about to read, and the feeling you would have when that was about to happen.
That's what court's like, right? Basically. That's like when they've got you banged to rights and it's like, here's a list of things. And you're like, can I just? It's like, you'll be in
the
contempt of court.
judge's like, no, you have to sit and listen to it all. How about the bit at the end when they find them guilty? And the judge is like, I prepared a statement.
Yeah.
I hate you. Everyone here hates you.
My thing about that, when
You're
they've got the
going
statement
to
prepared,
jail.
because they don't know if it's going to be guilty or innocent. Do they prepare two statements? Because sometimes a statement is like, you are the worst kind of reprobate.
Isn't it more amazing that? Isn't it? They're like, right, you've been found guilty. You're going to return in a couple of weeks for the sentence. And I'm going to spend those 2 weeks writing down how much I hate you. And you're going to have to come back and you're going to have to listen to it.
Doing a deep dive on Facebook and their social media. And by the way, I thought that picture that you posted of you and your boyfriend on holiday was pretty fucking shit.
On several occasions, you failed to hit your protein goals. That's number one. You believe beans are a protein source. They are a carb source.
I'm still not on board with that. Fava beans, I reckon. Don't you have to? I think you have to supplement vitamin B12. I've become everything I hate. I'm gonna put on coffee. Hold on. Carry on.
Supplement vitamin B12. I don't understand what that means.
I mean, you may or may not have to supplement vitamin B12. That's completely unrelated to protein.
Something that I was thinking about protein yesterday when I was on this stag, I went out to a club, to Scala, as I said. And I was thinking, in the 80s, it was an 80s, 90s and noughties night.
It's a lot of decades.
A lot of decades, a lot of music. I was thinking 80s and 90s, maybe a bit of 2000s. I'm not saying that there weren't fitness trends, but there were a lot of dudes there when I was there yesterday who were like buff, or they maybe were natty, or they were maybe maybe they'd taken steroids, maybe they hadn't, whatever. But they were big. They were big in a way which is like they'd done the shoulders, they'd done the pecs, they'd done the arms, and I was like, and also obviously no one's smoking inside anymore. I was like, the 80s. I don't think beyond a much more niche interest group, you're getting people who are like buff, like people aren't buff left, right, and centre. Everyone who was in that club. Had that kind of, especially it's that kind of slight physicality where the shoulders are brought in a little bit.
Yeah.
The chest is kind of framed like that.
Traps are too big.
Traps are a bit big, and they're all kind of like that. There's not a lot of beer, there's clear liquids. And I was like, man, that must be that's very different to even when I started going out clubbing in mid 2000s.
Yeah, mid 2000s, it would be a man be like, might wear a shirt. That would be their preparation for going out.
Gel
I
in the
might
hair.
use product in my hair. Yeah, exactly.
Brill cream.
Yeah, ready to go.
Slick it
Whereas
back.
now they're like, might have to spend 9 months bulking and cutting.
Yeah.
I might cut weight for 3 nights.
Yeah,
before
just to make
Pasha.
just to make Scala.
Just gonna get a quick plank in the restroom while I can.
Yeah.
I'll be back in 10 minutes, guys.
What's that thing? Was it Christian Bale or was his name who did Wolverine? Hugh Jackman. Where it's like he would fast for like 2 days before the shoot and drink white wine
dehydrates you, doesn't
and completely be dehydrated, so that just for the topless scenes he was as shredded and vascular as you could possibly be for a human.
As one man can be.
But you can only sustain it for sort of a 12-hour window before you start to...
15 minutes.
Have you ever watched the
Quick! I can't do this anymore, please!
the video? More
Pipettes in his mouth.
UFC competitors have died making weight and died in the ring.
Have any died in the ring?
Maybe
don't
one or
think-
two.
right,
But quite a few have
But
died
making weight.
because they just go into a steam room for a solid day and they chew ice, but they're not allowed to swallow it, and they're just like sweating and sweating.
Why would they chew the ice if they're not allowed to swallow it?
Apparently, it gives you a mild feeling of satiation. Very, very.
So it makes you
mild.
feel like you're drinking water when you're not, and there's
And
the
also
problem.
kind of consuming something. It's
Yeah,
like,
you're
if you
crunching.
ever been fasting and if
Yeah.
the hunger comes in, you get some chewing gum instead.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, it's something, but it's not.
Yeah.
And
but
then
it helps.
and then they go and they weigh in, and then they drink one bit of water, and then body just
Yeah.
like
Thank you so much.
one of those tents that builds itself straight away.
The weird thing to me with that is you would think that an orthodoxy would have emerged where people wouldn't still die from it, instead of being like, This other guy died from chewing ice in a sauna all day, but the way that I'm going to chew ice in my sauna is so different that no one's ever going to know.
How else?
You know, like...
Here's the thing. How No, honestly, how else do you do it? Because if you have weight
Get
divisions...
rid of the weight divisions.
How do you get rid of the weight divisions?
You
Only
the
big guys. Only big
So
guys
straw weight versus heavyweight.
Maybe you
It's
have two straw weights.
What? No,
Yeah.
okay, and what's the weight range for a straw weight?
One on top of the shoulders, and they wear a big coat. One heavyweight. I mean two. I mean one.
They're small enough that they can fit in the same belt. As many people as you can fit inside of the cincher of the belt would work.
How about
Did you
that
see the
fucking
Fury?
knockout?
But did you see that in the weigh-in when they were looking at each other?
No.
Fury was like a head taller than him.
Fury's so big.
He's a big guy. I don't reckon I could take him.
Well,
No chance.
You don't reckon you could take him?
No.
Even,
how much are you dripping
Even
wet?
now, like today, I don't reckon I could take him. Even though he'd be
Even though you've been
tired.
cutting for days and you're vascular as can be.
You couldn't take him if he was asleep.
No.
The night after that fight, you couldn't take him
100%.
if he was asleep.
After he's taken a pint of vodka to the dome,
Exactly.
he's still gonna.
Yeah. He'd crush you with one hand.
He's a big boy.
He's a big guy.
What is it, like almost
excellent-
7 foot?
Excellent technique.
Yeah.
Trains extensively. He's got a lot of advantages against me.
Oh man, who was that? What was the name of the guy? White. And he's been around
Dillian
for a really
White.
long time.
He's a good boxer.
Yeah, he's a good boxer.
He's all right.
He's got like
He's
one.
not-
He's
it's not
got one of
Fury.
those heads that you're like you've been hitting the head so much.
Been hitting the head a lot.
He's been hitting the head so
He's got a
much.
few
like,
dings
the
on
shape
him.
of it. He's got dings. The nose. Fury doesn't even look like he's been hitting the head that much.
Because he hasn't.
He's got a mental face,
What about
obviously.
when Deontay hit him in the head?
He's sure been hit.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean,
there's
Deontay
people
hit him in the head.
and he
For
was
example.
down for
Yeah.
8, was it?
If Deontay had hit me in the head,
You'd be down forever.
I reckon at least 8. Possibly more.
Yeah.
Match Fury.
Like that.
He's been hit. He's not like what's his face, Mayweather, who literally has basically never been hit
in his whole life,
whole career.
his whole life since he was a
But
kid.
Fury doesn't get hit much. His reach is so big.
must spar.
He's such a tall guy.
He must get hit in the head.
Yeah.
I reckon they're just hitting the
There's-
head with a hammer the whole time.
Yeah.
That doesn't help.
It's like
Does not help.
Makes your brain harder.
Condition me.
Trepanning. Tom, do you know about trepanning?
I invented trepanning.
No, you didn't. Prove it.
Well, yes, I
Tom
am.
gets trepanned.
Yeah.
Tom gets trepanned every now and then,
It's
just to let the
cathartic.
demons out.
Do you know about the trepanning link that Caitlin has with their company? One of the investors is
Yeah, it does stink of that.
naming. Yeah.
I don't know what
There.
Caitlin does for her new. I don't know who Caitlin is. I don't know who Caitlin is, and I don't know what Japan is. No, I don't know what.
She works for that app that turns into the Manchurian Candidate.
Wait, it's
Exactly,
the one.
that's the one.
It's the one. It's like you close your eyes and it shows you different colours, and then
Flashing light.
and then you must kill the queen.
That's the one. You might have heard of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
a Dead Queen.
Trust me, it's pretty good. I must kill the queen.
Tom, explain for people who don't know what trepanning is quickly what it is.
Yeah, it's an Irish man with 3 pans.
Frick.
Jesus Christ.
Is that on the list?
They drill a hole in your head because it's good for you.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's as crazy as it sounds. That is what it is.
My feeling is, so I have often had spots,
Okay.
acne, that type of thing, and I'm tempted to squeeze it.
Right.
And I've always got this feeling of like, if I squeeze, this is going to be so great. The release, the pressure of the
Short-term
spots.
gain.
It's going to come out and I'm going to be a new man, reborn. And I do it and I'm like, that's a little bit sore. Oh, and now it continues to be a little bit sore.
Yeah.
And now I've got a little bit of blood on me.
Yeah.
And I imagine trepanning must be a similar vibe. You're like, this is going to be sweet when I finally have that hole in my head. Get rid of all of the bad stuff that's in my head. It'll just come flooding out. But then someone drills a hole in your head and you're like, I can't feel my right arm
The
anymore.
hole in my head still hurts.
But isn't there a weird thing as well? Like when you see skulls that have been trepanned from, I don't know, whenever
you
it
do.
is, like 1,000 years ago, as I'm often studying, the size of the trepan holes
How big are we
is
talking?
really big. It's like
You
the
know when
size,
you get a masonry bit?
it's like the size of a it's like the size of a mug. In
You know,
some
like
of
a
the
hand
skulls.
drill, those big things
Yeah.
where it's like...
I mean, those skulls are full of evil. That's the thing. Those people had demons in their head,
Well, but fortunately they got trepanned.
but fortunately they got trepanned.
so they're okay.
Whereas now it's like
Would you wear a toupee to cover it? Do you just die?
what age are we talking about? In the
Definitely
11th
someone died.
century, I don't know, maybe like a kind of flax cap. or something like that.
Good source of protein.
A great source of protein for the brain. Just dip that flax cap in your gaping skull every now and then, and it'll really improve your results.
Weird things they did back in the day. This is on my list, in my brain. Have either of you guys heard of the Margate Shell Grotto? As you can see, I've got a book there.
Yes.
So I went there. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Have you seen photos of it?
I've been there.
Have you been there?
I've been there.
Have you been there?
How
I've
fucking
been
weird
there.
is it? Wait, explain for people what it is. And then, well, mainly for Tom, because he's an idiot. But
Because of the microphone in front of me, I'm now like really worried that I'm not going to be
You're not
able
gonna do
to
a good
remember
job.
it or whatever. As far as I remember it, is this.
Grievances.
Yeah.
That time you made me explain what the Shell Grotto was.
Yeah. And another thing, the in Margate, which is a seaside town in Kent,
Nailing it so far.
there is an underground cave grotto. It feels a bit more like a house underground, where the walls entirely have been lined with shells and mirrors, and I think they don't know why it's there or who did it.
Yeah.
But do they know when it's from? That's basically what it is.
They kind of don't really know when it's from either.
Yeah.
There's
This is
a few theories.
This is a whole book here that I'm looking at that has multiple competing theories.
Yes.
I mean, I guess part of the thing is there's absolutely no stakes, so it doesn't matter too much.
Well, the weird thing about it is there is a map from about 10 years before when it was discovered.
Which is like the early 19th century.
Which is, 1830s. There's a map from the 1820s which shows the location of the grotto, and it's just in the middle of a field. So there's no someone sneaking down to their basement, digging a hole and putting up the grotto.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. And then suddenly 15 years later there is a full grotto.
Yeah.
Is a
Covered
grotto a
with
lot?
shells.
How hard
It's
is it to
huge.
build- how
No,
hard
Tom.
is it to build a grotto?
There's
I think it's
I could be wrong. 4.3 million shells in there.
Is that a lot of shells? For 15 years?
Should I show you one shell? No. It's not. No one's saying that in the 15 years they did it. There is no evidence of anyone making it at any point. And you go
What
in.
about the fact that it's there? That's evidence of someone making it.
Yeah, that's.
You're
that's
like
proof,
what? So
not
what you're
evidence.
saying in your obstructive way is
he's.
you're like it's a phenomenon. It's there. Why bother thinking about
I'm not
it?
saying that. I'm saying what was the thing about 15 years ago?
As in, there's a map, right? Where here's some field. There's nothing built there.
Yes.
15 years later, grotto.
Yeah.
Later, grotto.
The Leto Grotto.
The grotto is discovered when they're breaking ground to build a cottage.
Yeah.
They're like, hold on, what's this?
It's a grotto.
They start picking it apart, and it's like, oh, there's a tunnel. The tunnel leads them to this thing deep underground, and it's covered in shells, showing really weird, like, iconography. Like,
It's bigger than this room, isn't it? From what I remember.
yeah, it's much bigger than this.
Like bigger.
Probably about the size of the downstairs here, but with like
Like
winding.
40 square meters.
And there's an altar and like a weird thing with like maybe there was sacrifice or something.
Although I do have to say, if there's an altar, that you get a lot of mad crizzes.
Yeah,
I'm not sorry. I'm also now falling into the trap of theorising about why it
but
might be
there's
there.
no Christian iconography there at all,
right.
which is one of the weirder things about it as well.
Are you aware of the cult of Mithras?
Why are you so into the Margate Grotto would be my question. Is it
I was
because
just there.
you went and it was cool?
I was just there and it was cool.
You didn't go to see the grotto?
Caden went to see the grotto.
Go to see the grotto.
I just went there and it was cool. But
He's really underplaying that. There was no way that that's true.
Mithras is one of the theories in that
Yeah,
book.
man. Obviously.
Isn't Mithras, correct me if I'm wrong, Roman cult? He's
Nailing it.
maybe
Who is he?
maybe it's Etruscan. He's a great warrior who slays a bull.
Keep your fucking hat on with that Etruscan shit, mate. All right.
I tried.
Where the fuck did that come
I
from?
tried. He slays a bull.
He slays a bull. The bull is a kind of icon, if you will, or symbol for I think the universe.
And it's man's domination over
Mithras
the
is a
world.
man. I think Mithras is like a kind of Jupiter figure mixed with the sun.
But the slaying of the bull represents
The creation of the earth.
right. Okay.
Yeah. But really, the thing that I was going for was, it's like a Roman cult. Lots of soldiers did it, and there's a Mithraeum that they've just discovered in London, and there's a Mithraeum that they just uncovered in Syria. So it's like it's a pretty
It was
kind of
everywhere.
unifying religion.
It's like a Mason thing. Was it a
kind
religion?
of like a Mason thing. Yeah, I mean, religion's a very difficult concept in Roman times anyway. But
Yeah.
like, it's something along the lines of something that people ritually did. I guess. But like, anytime you see a grotto, Mithras is like not too far away because they gathered underground.
Yeah.
It's more like Scientology.
It says there it was probably Phoenician.
There's a theory that it might be Phoenician.
Phoenician.
No way.
It says
The Phoenicians got to Margate.
it appears to
fish and
satisfy
chips.
our criteria rather more convincingly. But then they set the criteria. So.
They set but the criteria they set are pretty fair enough.
What are Phoenician
Read
criteria?
so that's right at the beginning.
Yeah,
the
it
criteria
says,
for
number one-
why is there this thing here?
Number
So-
1, 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight.
Not on the list of grievances.
That's known as the Phoenician quantity. They were buff, man.
Feasibility is one. It's quite annoying.
Yeah, feasibility.
Motivation. Why?
Why? Why the fuck did you do
Why?
it? How did you do it? Why did you do it?
The Phoenicians, mainly coastal people. How inland is the grotto?
It's Margate.
No, it's Margate. Yeah, it's right on
It
the.
could be, I reckon, in the greater parish of Margate, it could be far enough inland.
It is actually far enough inland that
that I wouldn't be asked to go and build.
There are
something.
cliffs. You'd
Although-
have to get them up the cliff and then down the hill.
Yeah.
To get it to the grotto.
Coastal drift, though.
No.
Okay. It didn't silt up.
No. It's no. They're big. They're big chalk cliffs.
Yeah.
It's weird. You'd think there'd be something, but there's nothing
Maybe
apart from 4.3 million shells.
When I went to Machu Picchu, they were like, we don't really know.
Yeah.
No, that's like absolutely. It's like the biggest tourist site in that country, and they're like, no.
Yeah.
It's just like, I mean, part of the reason, if it's like not a site of religious pilgrimage, and
Yeah.
like,
Which it
sort of
probably
like,
is.
but like, I mean, an active site where like people
Right.
are going and then they argue about
Right.
it.
Right.
Then it's like, I mean, I guess like one hobbyist will be looking into it.
Yeah.
They're hardly gonna like really sweat over the origin of it. So I guess you'll just get people being like, maybe it was the I don't know. And everyone will be like, yeah, cool. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
not. Like when I was in,
Because Machu Picchu is really
like
quite
it looks,
isolated, isn't it?
it looks wicked. It takes
Yeah.
ages to get there,
Yeah.
and it's just like some guy from Harvard was like, this could be maybe probably a big deal.
Print that.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, might be a religious or possibly political significance. And you're like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sounds like it. Those are some of the big ones, aren't they?
From what I know about, I'm glad that classics is coming up so much. From what I know about, classics, especially in a kind of pre-Christian, but kind of also in a Christian era as well. It was like trends. People were just like the big thing for a while would be to go to whatever the spot would be. People would be like, there's this new spot. Go there if you're into the whole Juno thing. And I think some of them get written about loads, and others don't really get written about. And the ones that don't, they're just there, and then they just basically cross-reference it based on everything else. So there's probably some, I don't know what kind of textual tradition Machu Picchu has around it. I'm guessing not a lot.
So
That's usually the classic.
It's the equivalent of how everyone got really into going to Ibiza for a
Ibiza.
while, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they're still into it.
What's a place that people aren't into?
Canary Islands?
Blackpool.
What
Blackpool.
came and went.
Blackpool.
Blackpool's not bad, yeah. Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Crystal
They had the
Palace.
Palace.
Yeah.
No longer the Palace.
The kosher hotel circuit. Are you aware of that?
No, go on.
There's a big thing in the
Yes, and?
between the wars. The silent, the
Yeah.
jazz generation. The silent jazz generation.
Jazz generation.
Yeah, listen to the notes they're not playing. That's the entirety of it.
They're all playing on mute the whole time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a big thing around the coasts in England in like the 30s. Kosher hotels. There'd be Jewish bands that would just go and play kosher.
Well,
it wasn't like
klezmer.
kosher music. No, it wasn't klezmer. It was
Oh,
like
come on.
Man,
Let it be klezmer.
It was
like
Just even weirder. It was just the jazz that you could listen to anywhere else.
It's just the standards.
It was
big
30s big band stuff. But they were all Jews, and also all the Jews would like go and in like hotels in Portsmouth, Brighton, Blackpool,
No idea
stuff like
about
that.
this.
Absolutely loads, and also loads of Jews still live by the coast.
Sure.
Well, I'm saying loads.
Yeah.
There are only 200,000 in the UK, right?
Yeah.
They were
Loads of them.
They were all in this one hotel.
Swarms.
What the fuck is Tom's deal with quantities and saying that they're small?
That's a good point.
What is it?
4.3
4.3 million shells? That's
Yeah.
not a lot of shells.
Yeah, how many shells have you got?
What does it take for you to be impressed?
For 15 years, I reckon I could transport 4.3 million shells.
All right.
But without anybody seeing you do it.
No one would care if I was doing it.
That's true.
What?
Why would they, no one's going to write
If
down.
you're doing it a shell at a time, no one's going to care.
Saw that guy
if
carrying
every
a sack.
day you're carrying bucket loads, what is this? Barrow loads of shells, people be like, what's Tom doing with all
Not
those
enough to
shells?
write it down.
Let me ask.
I'd write it down.
Let me ask you
I'm
this.
going to write it down right now.
Let me
What
ask
was
you
the
this.
last thing you wrote down where you saw someone doing something weird around Brixton?
Jim?
Text. Have you ever texted? You must have texted Caitlin, being like, "There's some guy with his
He's got
pants
you.
with his pants down."
Yeah.
That's
I don't know where else to go from that, but you know.
No, but he's right. And yes, that did happen.
Let's see the text.
Receipts. Is that where it's come to?
Jesus, man.
Show me the receipts.
4.3 million. What is it over 15 years?
What I'm wondering is,
You
how many pieces of shale did you and I bring through Tom's fucking house when we did his garden?
When we did his garden.
Because I would say that was in the thousands, tens of thousands, maybe.
There were many, many sacks of shale.
Heavy sacks of shale.
And
Heavy
cut-
sacks of shale.
And how many things did we cut out? It was about the same amount of,
Oh man, those bags
Yeah.
of soil.
of soil.
Was it soil? No, it's the other way around. We took the
It
shale
was-
out. We
took
brought the
shale
soil
out,
in,
we brought the
boy.
soil in. That was actually the worst thing because then they didn't care for the garden in any way.
Oh, it's so bad as well.
Just doesn't get a lot of sun.
So
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
We should have known, and we should have used a different kind of grass.
700.
Are you blaming us?
I'm saying collective we. We had our bit to play.
The editorial. 785 shells a day.
That's still a lot.
No, that's still a lot, man.
More than I thought it was.
Maybe the Phoenicians did it.
I think two of us.
You have
though.
to beach comb. You'd have to be combing the beach.
Some of the shells. It says.
Almost all are native. But some are from
came from
Southampton.
Cornwall.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's all right.
No, but it's...
Currents, isn't it?
No, but it's weird.
No,
there's
not there by current.
There's like a large amount that are from not there. There's only, I think, 3 shells that are non-native. Like there's one from like Barbados or something. But all the rest are either local shells or they're from like Southampton and Cornwall.
I just
It's even
got
weird.
I just come to see the shell grotto. Put it on my own one.
I'm not on this podcast anymore. I'm not associated with that accent. Like.
Do you not think he did a good job?
That was
I'm not commenting.
that was Cornish.
I'm not on the podcast.
That was Cornish. That was Cornish.
Hello.
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 The lady Caitlin appears.
You alright?
Yeah, so good.
Well, go on.
It's one of those days where it's really beautiful or we're fucking freezing.
Mm.
No in between.
The clouding over.
Yeah, but then it's like way too hot when the...
Were you just on the common?
Yeah, but it's like bursting with like little daisies and stuff. It's really, really pretty.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it was
Did
really
you have a goslomet?
I did.
How was it?
It was gluteny.
Soon will not be a
The
problem.
forbidden goslomet.
Where is the Goslomet?
So it's this fruit
In your belly.
I think it's called the fruit and veg shop or whatever. It's kind of like a Whole Food shop, and it's if you've gone past the McDonald's, you've gone too far. It's kind of like more towards. I don't know how else to explain it.
They're doing.
It's
yeah.
an idiom.
They're doing the Mac Goslomet soon.
Yeah.
That's the new expanded
Really
range.
weird. I felt really sad seeing that the Starbucks by the station had closed.
Yeah, it's gone.
Do you know most of them?
But they're
a
not
lot
even
of them are
selling.
closing.
Yeah, Starbucks
really?
UK is fine.
Yeah. So
Really?
They're not. It's one of those. You know when a shop closes and you're like, oh, okay, someone will be along to replace it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
They've not put up a to let.
It doesn't look like it's
They've
going
not-
anytime soon.
It's not going anywhere.
No.
Why do they do that? Do you know?
I don't think this country's heading in a good direction.
Okay.
Would be my. I think that's the overall headline. And I think if you can't let the retail spot next to the Brixton Tube, you're in
No,
trouble.
but
You're
it's
in
not
trouble,
even up
aren't
for
you?
let. You'd think you'd put up a little board saying. But maybe the little board. Maybe I'm focusing too much on the little board. And it
I don't
is-
know. That's how Starbucks scout sites.
Right.
Is looking for little boards.
If you're like a-
oh, there's an opportunity. Should jump on this.
Wouldn't have known were it not for that board.
I reckon they're like running numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
They got research. And that.
Is Starbucks a franchise or is it a chain?
It's a great question.
I'm just saying, because in that way, maybe
I think it's a chain.
maybe you would be like, ooh, spot next to Brixton Station's opened up.
I
And
think it's
across
a
the
chain.
Brixton station too, because Costa
Yeah,
closed
Costa
down
also
as well.
closed. Pret has come along and just dominated.
Costa's
the market.
closed.
Yeah.
Costa couldn't
I
handle it.
love to see a Costa close. I love it.
And with that, I will leave you.
I completely agree.
They're so successful.
What if a Nero comes up in its
It
place?
does my noggin.
Is that the Hydra?
I love Nero.
Oh, what?
I love Nero. I'll go into Nero.
Cut that.
Yeah. I'll go into Nero.
What? What for?
Sit down.
Coffee. The nice chairs.
Sit down. Yeah, they do have nice.
Okay.
Thank you very much, the nice chairs.
Fair enough.
Not those little tables outside.
Yeah. What do you think about the Costa machine that you'd find in a co-op?
Not just a co-op.
Or what have you?
In your front room.
It's not bad. And
It's not bad.
it's not bad.
Oh.
And
Yeah, you get a frothy
God,
milky
man.
one from that machine.
absolutely.
it is.
And they have
Like-
the little
like a pint
packets
of milk with a
of
shot.
choco dust. You can choco dust it yourself.
Oh, mate.
Put a few
Yeah.
packets in your pocket.
Bit of luxury.
Britain heading in a bad direction. Rob is heading in a bad direction, man.
Yeah.
Put it in your pocket.
There's an option for like sushi. You're
Bit of
pressing that
choco
as
dust.
well. It's dropping down. You're like, this is the life.
Put chocolate dust in your pocket. Just dip it in. Get a little chocolatey taste every
What's
now and
that
then.
thing where he's like,
Yeah.
he's got loose in his pocket?
Cream and
Do you want
sugar.
cream or sugar?
Sugar.
No.
How about cream? No.
It's Hank Scorpion, isn't
Yeah.
it?
It's Hank Scorpio.
On
yeah,
Friday,
yeah.
the canteen serves beer. He loves German beer. Yeah. Beware of his generous pension.
Home, I gotta go. Somebody ate part of my lunch.
Yeah, so
episode.
good. What is it? Oh, no.
Favorite Simpsons character? Go.
I like Homer Simpson.
Heard of him?
He's a
Don't know much about him.
lovable goof, everyman figure. Does care for his family in a way, but you know, he's got a short fuse. Doesn't love his work, but he turns up. Puts
Is this on your list?
Puts the
'Cause,
hours in.
You know,
I'll
rescue this.
and he does
Tom's
it.
describing himself
Is this your stand-up
very
set
hard.
from yesterday?
He does it
mate.
for Maggie.
2 days ago. You
Doesn't
don't want to
he?
hear it.
He wanted to run the to work in the bowling
does
alley.
do it for Maggie. Look
But-
at Tom pulling it back.
He does it all
Tugging
for
on the
Maggie.
heartstrings.
That's actually a really deep cut as well. I'd completely forgotten that.
It's
That's
a
why
really
he takes the
deep
job
cut.
at the power plant.
That's why he does it. And there's a picture up, and it's covering all of the.
Yeah.
I could cry right now thinking about that.
Go for it. 3, 2, 1. He's crying.
Cry.
Amazing.
Live on air.
It was there.
Live on air.
Jem, can we hear any of your stand-up set?
Yes, I wanted to say quickly, what's your favourite Simpsons character?
Hans
Mine's
Moleman.
Hans Moleman.
Football in the groin.
Football in the groin, but also he
Knife.
goes on the date with Patty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, alcohol has destroyed my life. I'm 31 years old. But the date with Patty, or is it Selma? I think it's Patty. It goes really badly. They're in the car. It screeches to a halt. Boot him out. He's on the pavement. He looks up and he's like, "This isn't my house."
Yeah.
How about when he's like, the birds are attacking and he goes into the phone booth? Give me the biggest bird feeder you've got. No, that's too big. Astonishing. Absolutely astonishing.
Who's yours?
Grandpa Simpson.
Abe.
Grandpa Simpson, the bit where they go away on holiday and they come back and he hasn't been able to get his hormones, so he's grown a pair of tits.
Oh, that's very good. The speech about
It's so good.
any rambling grandpa speech is
Oh,
a good scene,
man.
as well, isn't it?
And any of the history of when he was bringing up Homer when Homer's a boy. Those are strong.
When they go on the road together and they're selling that tonic.
yeah, the impotency. Yeah.
Put some order in your larder.
You sir, you look like a man who has problems satisfying your wife.
Jem, stand-up set.
Ladies and
set.
gentlemen,
So,
boys and girls.
Yeah.
to set the scene,
So there I am.
Jem had to do stand-up on this stag, which is still ongoing. Everyone had to do stand-up. It wasn't like, Jeremy, this
Yeah,
is your
yeah,
contribution for the stag.
Yeah.
But you've never done stand-up before.
I've never done stand-up before.
Obviously, Tom and I have. That's why we're funny.
Yeah. I'm the,
not.
I'm the
Only
straight
if I
guy.
get paid.
This, I've never, only if I get paid. Also, he's on his phone. Which
Yeah.
actually makes me feel... it's
Grievances?
Well, it's bringing back quite a lot of feelings about doing the stand-up. Which is like, you can say something that you think is really interesting, turn around and someone's manifestly completely somewhere else.
That is one of the worst things about doing stand-up, for sure.
One of my main feelings about writing it was, I've never knowingly constructed a joke. I've witty repartee. Yeah. Snappy. At a dinner party.
All day long.
I've never knowingly set something up and then provided the punchline for it.
And then tag.
And then tag. look, man, you saying tag, 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 I'm already 20 feet out to sea. I'm up to my neck, you know what I mean? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
It's like the little cherry on the top after the punchline that keeps the laugh
Why
rolling.
did the chicken cross the road
Why?
to get to the other side?
But
Tag it.
oh, I can't. It's a shit joke.
Oh. Well, that doesn't mean you can't tag it. I
Okay,
think
fine.
that's the ideal tag, isn't it?
The other side of
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
You do a further.
It's a kind of yes and.
It is
keep
a
it
yes
rolling.
and
You
you
keep it rolling.
So you'd be like,
You've set me up with the worst
okay,
joke
okay,
today.
I'll do a proper one. God, I got bullied so badly at school.
Oh.
The kids were horrendous to me. They would give me wedgies. They'd push my head down the toilet. They'd call me names. I was 21-year-old. I had to resign as deputy head.
Yeah.
So I had to resign as deputy head as a tag.
I
It's
see.
basically just the punchline again.
Yeah.
And if you can keep it going,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah. It was homeschooling.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
That's good. That's good.
So yeah, that's the idea.
Man, I wish I could have produced even a third. By a third of that, I mean the first punchline, not the
I didn't
subsequent
realise you were.
It's a
gonna
pull
write-
back and reveal. I've seen others do it, but with not as much zeal.
I didn't realise you were going to write your own material. I thought you would just lift something wholesale and repurpose it as Jeremy telling jokes.
Oh right, you mean like the lemon bit from Mitch Hedberg or whatever?
E.g.
Yeah.
Although that would have been.
Well, I'll tell you
That's
the first
mostly
thing.
attitude. I think.
That's it.
Yeah.
The first thing.
Wait,
well,
what's the lemon bit?
no, sorry, it's the other guy, isn't it? Saved by the Buoyancy of Citrus is Stephen, whatever his fucking name is.
Stephen Wright.
Isn't it Stephen Wright?
What's the joke?
I'm saved by the buoyancy of citrus. Have you never heard that one?
No.
No.
Do you know this one, Tom?
Oh my god.
is it?
Oh man, don't fucking put me on the spot with that.
You are on the spot.
You've got to. No, because the thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do the worst thing that you can do with comedy, which is I'm going to
Fuck
tell
it.
you the facts
punchline.
of the joke
Don't do
without
that.
giving you any of the humour.
Don't do that.
There's a guy.
is like-
He shoots a moose.
Yeah, exactly. The first thing that came to mind doing the stand-up was the one
It
that
is
Tom
hentai.
told about being like about the guy after he flees Nazi Germany and he goes over to America and he's like, I've always thought about that bubka that I could get
I've seen
in the
Jerry Seinfeld
bakery
do that.
just around the corner from my
that's
house.
such a great
It's the
joke.
best bubka that I ever had. His grandkids are like, well, Granddad, can we do anything for you? Can we help you get back to that place? He's like, no, it's gone. It's a past country that I used to live in. And it rolls around and he develops terminal cancer. And
Funny cancer.
within the final months of his life, his grandkids save up money. They club together. They're like, Grandpa, we're going to take you on a trip somewhere. And they blindfold him. And they put him on the plane. And when they get out the other side, he's in Bavaria. And they're leading him by the arm, he can barely walk, to this bakery. And he's like, the bakery's still there. It's exactly as I remember it. Nothing's changed. They walk him inside and he says in German that he hasn't spoken for 50 years, please, could I have one more slice of that bubka before I go? And they're like, we're sold out. And he's like, I'll just have a coffee then, it doesn't matter. Something like that. Something like that.
Perfect.
Like,
And then the tag would be if you have like a little
yeah.
thing to add.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
and
mean?
then-
It's
yeah.
like coffee's also out.
So
Yeah.
and he's like,
I forget the whole thing.
you know, it wasn't a big deal anyway. I don't even know why I bothered.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't really like bubka.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is bubka? It's a funny word, isn't it? Bubka. It's
Bubka.
like you got a bub
Bubka.
and you got a cur. Yeah.
Yeah.
Manure.
Manure.
So she
It's a mark.
heard them. And
And then a nua.
it's not really not that bad.
I wrote, it was like you had to write 3 minutes. It could be about anything. One of the guys who was one of the like organisers of the stag do, he wrote 3 minutes which were just one-liners about flags, and it was easily
Like puns.
like just simple. It's like I've always been really into flags. One of my favourites, China, 5 stars. Don't really like Vietnam though, 1 star.
Yeah, it's fine.
Stuff like that.
Stuff like that.
Quite a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
3 minutes on flags is a
3
strong
minutes. But I tell you something that was really good. Halfway through, his phone storage filled up, and he couldn't get access to it. So he was just off the cuff, He was just going with the flag joke.
Someone throw me a flag. Give me a flag.
Yeah. I'll do it. I'll do a thing about it right now. Give me anything.
A single flag.
You, sir, where do you come from? England. Oh,
Ghana. I think it's got a black...
Yeah.
Black Star.
Yeah.
All right, you.
Yeah. What's that?
The South African flag. Why? It's good. It's good.
It's good.
Good stuff.
It's a deep
lot
cut.
lot better than mine. I was like, the setup, the beginning of the setup of mine was, I'm self-employed.
Yeah.
I'm just telling it like it is. I'm self-employed, and I had the stand-up written in my draft, so I was like, oh, it's a bit dangerous checking your emails, being self-employed at the end of the week. Like, you pull it down, it feels a bit like when you were a kid and you used to go into the bathroom and say Bloody Mary, close your eyes and turn around 3 times. At that point, I checked to see if anyone in the audience had done the Bloody Mary thing, and no one knew what it was. And I was like,
You didn't know where to go.
all of it's black. It's like
Oh my god, that's it.
all the lights have turned off. I'm free falling.
Yeah, Dustin Hoffman.
I don't know where
Rain
to
Man.
go. Yeah, exactly.
This is the thing of like you do the local reference. Like if you have a joke about like a shitty eatery, like here it might be like
Your
Happy
house.
Shopper or something, but you go to Finland and you find out what's their shitty one and you do that.
Right.
So like with Bloody Mary, you might have Candyman is the same thing, right?
Candyman.
Or Beetlejuice.
But you know what?
There's a few ones where you
know
just
what?
repeat the name.
Yeah.
Bombing is good. Bombing
Sure
is...
doesn't feel good. No, you
bombing,
didn't bomb though, did
bombing, no, just that moment, something not landing
Yeah.
is good because it's a reaction. Just
Yeah.
like when they say in sales, if they say no, that's good because they're talking to you. So like
Yeah.
people having a strong negative reaction is an energy in the room
Yeah.
that you can then work with. So you're just like, all right, none of you got that, did you?
Yeah.
You know, and then you're talking to people, which is good. You just you have to use it. You can't just plow on. I guess is the problem.
Yeah, that's the thing. I very quickly, I shat the bed and tried to do like just talking to people in the audience stuff. Who are you Where are you from? I then just carried on doing the bit, doing the bit,
just
because
plowing
like,
through.
because like why not?
Just get through the material.
Because like why not? The thing that I didn't like when I was in LA, watching stand up, the work in progress thing that some people do, I think it can be really fine, obviously, because they're there to try it out. But you know when you see people doing work in progress stuff, and they're so clear about the fact that it's work in progress, and they're just reading off their notebook and stuff like that, and you're like, I don't know why the fuck I'm here. Like you're not really trying to do the bit. You're not even really trying to do the bit. You're just reading out the words that you've got written down. I feel like it's one step too removed from the actual telling of the joke.
But I mean, how much are you paying for that?
I know, $5 for 3 hours. Yeah, that's too much. That's too much. I just saw someone. I saw someone who was doing it. I don't know. It was the one in Camden, and one person no one was laughing at any of their jokes, and so they also threw out all of their work in progress stuff and just started going on about how no one was finding them funny and no one was laughing at their jokes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Again, it's the reason why I've never done it, because I hate the idea of being in a dynamic like that. It's awful to me. Kind of
just working the crowd.
that like weird unrehearsed thing. Like you're working the crowd. What are you working the crowd for? For like a little bit of.
No, I don't want any.
I'll have it. For a little bit of feedback. It just seems weird to me.
It's a hard process, though. That's why it's a brutal gig, because there's no way of practicing it apart from in front of an audience.
Yeah.
Like there's just no way.
Yeah.
Like if it's funny in your head, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Rock does that weird thing where he does the monotone.
Yeah.
When he's gigging it.
Yeah.
That's not weird to me. That makes total sense.
But imagine having within you
Yeah.
the ability to juice the material and get the laugh.
Yeah.
And being like, no, I'm not chasing the laugh.
Stripping it back.
I'm just gonna say it and see if it lands.
And see if
because I
it's-
want it to be good.
Yeah.
And it not landing and thinking, well, I could just guarantee a laugh, but I'm just not gonna.
Yeah. I could sell it.
But
the thing is,
I wasn't good or anything. I'm not saying I was good, but like
you are good.
If I thought
You were a
I could-
finalist.
Well, yeah. But like, what's that?
Plenty of people who weren't.
What's that thing? If you ask enough people, yeah. But if I thought I could get a laugh,
Go for it.
I'd go for it. Like,
Same.
it's not, there wasn't some other thing I was aiming for other than laughs. I wasn't like, this might be a real rallying for my cause, or like, whatever.
Yeah. But that's the
stand-ups
thing.
do that.
That's the thing about the new material thing. I think I'm getting at is, in a way, yeah, you're not trying that much and you're just reading out the ideas. But it's like the idea isn't formed enough for you to be showing it to people, and also, then if it goes badly, just pivoting into like laying into the audience because they're not giving you what you want. You're like, well, then
That's
neither of
No
the
one's in
things
favour of
you
that.
should be
There's a
doing.
good bit in Annie Hall.
Neither of the
You
things.
overhear someone saying, he's like, I've got something, I don't think it's an idea, but I'm going to take a meeting to talk about it, and if they like it, hopefully I'll develop it into an idea.
Yeah. I lived
But at the
with.
same time, imagine turning up and someone like who's never done stand-up at all has written an hour, and then they're just proceeding to read it out like verbatim, ready, like
I've been there.
wholly formed, and like none of it's working, and you're like, you should have probably road tested this a long
That
way.
was a big thing that I thought was none of the ideas that you think are going to work in the way that you do, and when you form something too much, there's no point. It's really, really hard. But that's weird because when it is written down, that does work. You can form something and have someone read it and they'll like it.
Yeah, although also you probably need an editor as well.
Yeah,
Definitely.
sure.
Like sometimes I write something and then I wait a while and then I read it again and I've forgotten I've written it and I'm like, who's this idiot?
Yeah.
And I'm like just cutting it and cutting it and cutting it.
There's this thing that the Phoenicians came up again.
They did stand up.
No, their form
Funny
of
stuff.
They were open mic guys.
their form of debate. What they do, they debate the same topic twice, once sober and once drunk.
Okay. Which way round?
I don't
I saw that on
know
the
if
internet.
that was. Yeah. It's one of those history memes.
I don't believe it.
I didn't know they know that about Phoenician culture.
I don't know.
It was nice.
Also, it might not be the
Yeah,
Phoenicians.
but it was a nice internet thing.
That's good, yeah.
It's one of those history memes. It could
Yeah.
be true. I have
Yeah,
not
yeah.
fact checked it, but I understand the idea of it. It's the same as what you're saying about editing. It's
Do you reckon the drunk
It's a fresh pair
debates?
of eyes.
Do you reckon the drunk debates have sober judges that like decide who's
Oh,
won?
that's such a good
and
question.
then the sober
Such a
debates
good
have drunk
Yeah,
judges.
yeah.
Yeah.
Your Honour, pay attention,
Yeah.
please.
Your Honour.
The hanging judge was sober. He hadn't had a drink.
A drunk judge generally, I think, is a very strong character.
Imagine being on
Very
trial
strong character.
and
And you know,
feeling like you're being fitted up,
and you're
but
like,
being like, I reckon
If I get to say my case, they'll hear me out. And you turn up and the judge is like, oh.
not even half cut.
Yeah.
He's wasted.
Yeah, you can just
After
feel your
lunch.
palms sweating. What?
You saw him in a bistro drinking like a jug of red wine.
That's rough. What about a show trial though, where like you already know they're gonna find you
It's
guilty,
so fun. I love that.
and they're gonna rake you across
That
the
whole
coals.
thing's so fun. Like, and like,
That's so
in like
kangaroo court.
whatever it is, Nuremberg, and they're like, they still got like a lawyer or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, Your Honour, who among us?
Yeah.
hasn't dreamt of a 1,000-year Reich.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hanging.
Your Honour, before I start, I just want to say, I think he's guilty.
Yeah.
And this in no way reflects my personal views. This is a gig for me.
They're
and
in
I
the-
want to do more
Yeah.
gigs afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'm being paid. That's it.
When
They're
was
like-
it where you first had that sip of the bourbon, brownest of the brown?
They're in that, like, it's like they're in the briefing room before Nuremberg and the lawyer comes in and the guy's Eichmann or whatever, it's like, listen, it's like, look man, I know what you're going to say. It doesn't, there's nothing here, trust me.
He's like, Eichmann's like, put me on the stand.
Yeah.
They're warm to me.
Yeah.
Look,
Guys, are we
Eichmann.
going to go guilty? Or...
Eichmann, baby.
I got a case.
I'm often known for my hot takes and satirical sense of humour.
Hey,
Maybe it
some
will
of them
get
got
through.
off. Not all of them got hung.
But they...
Did any get
A
off?
few got off.
On a technicality.
I believe Hess.
You mean
got
like...
off.
You mean like...
Promoted.
No.
You mean like got off? They were like, when it comes to the Holocaust, your hands are clean, mate.
No. They-
Surely it was all guilty.
But no. I don't mean got off as in they weren't found guilty. I mean as in they weren't hung.
Okay.
That's a
okay.
low-
The hanging judge.
It's a different bar.
Right.
Well,
right,
we're
right.
talking about the Holocaust. The bars are.
Well, if
different.
you've been involved in the Nazis, you're lucky to get away without the hanging. If you're
think so.
seeing everyone else and you're like, I'm up next, and the judge is like, you're all right.
Yeah. I like the cut of your jib.
You leave through the left door. Yes.
Here we go, Tom, with the facts.
24.
24 what?
24 participants.
In the Nuremberg trials?
Yeah. Penalty. Death. Death in absentia.
What?
Sentenced to death in absentia?
So he's not there, but we're going to kill him? Trust us? Or he's already dead, but if he was alive, we'd kill him?
Martin Bormann.
Oh, yeah, Bormann. Good.
Death.
Classic Nazi.
Death. Life
So wait,
imprisonment.
Here
death.
we go. See? Who got life?
Life imprisonment. Death.
Hess.
Death. Death. No decision.
Who was that?
He was medically unfit for trial.
Oh,
He'd
yeah,
been
what?
partially paralysed since
That's
1941.
that Weinstein thing. Turns up with the walker.
Since 1941.
How about this?
Early night. He's
The
like
charges against him remained on record in the event he would recover. But he didn't, and he died.
Yeah, no kidding.
They were like, as soon as he comes out from the coma, we got to hang him. And he was like,
yeah.
I might not bother.
Someone whispering to him in the coma. Stay asleep. You gotta stay
no
asleep.
decision because he committed suicide.
Yeah. That must have been quite a common look among some of them. Hitler, for example,
I think
and his dog and wife.
It's not Goebbels, it's the other one. It's Himmler. Himmler commits suicide.
How?
Awaiting trial. I believe someone gives him cyanide pills.
Oh yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Which
Death.
actually is... Tom's just going, death. Is this on your list, mate?
Death. Life imprisonment. Death.
You know that thing where they're like, isn't it? What is it? Is it like you've got a fake? Is it that you've got a fake tooth that you crack and
Pretty
it's got
good.
a cyanide pill in, or is it you've got a cyanide pill up in your
Who was the
cheek
right.
and then you swallow it?
It's somewhere in there where if you're just normally going about your business, it doesn't do anything. But you have to like go,
Yeah, if you
and
like,
then you're dead.
they're like don't eat peanuts. Like rule one. Yeah, like those popcorns, but one of it's not pop.
Did I tell you that time when I went to the
Yeah.
dentist? I know, because you went to the dentist and they were like, do you eat fruit? And you were like, yeah. And they were like, don't.
Yeah, no, man, it was so much worse than that.
They're like, do you drink milk? Stop.
Yeah,
But just quickly mine and then tell me yours. I went to the
Yeah.
dentist and he was like, do you ever eat nuts? I was like, yeah. He did a filling. I was like, yeah, sure. He was like, what about chewing gum? I was like, yeah, occasionally. He was like, okay, so you might want to just lay off that for a bit. And I was like, okay, how long for? He was like, forever.
Wait, nuts and chewing gum.
No more ever again was his prognosis.
What's the downside?
They have the opposite downsides. Is my anticipation of this.
Is it a
One
nutty
fills you up,
chewing
the other
gum?
one, please. Almond based.
the gum pulls the filling out.
Yes.
The
and the
nut
nuts replace.
destroys replaces. It digs the filling further in and becomes the new layer.
Becomes the new layer. It's a Darwinian a contest for which can be your filling.
This one's silver, that's gold, that's academia.
That's macadamia. I'm full up of macadamia, baby.
When I'd say macadamia.
I got told
good.
I've got deep fissures in my mouth. Like the molars are deep.
Deep?
And I got told I shouldn't eat crisps, but I should eat nuts. For the reason that...
Gotta eat nuts.
Yeah. I can't tell. Actually, maybe the dentist was being rude.
Was he just rinsing you?
Rude.
Yeah, eat some nuts, boy.
Usually those nuts, I'm like that. But the
You should eat nuts.
apparently I should eat nuts.
As in, for your teeth's health, it would be better than worse if you ate nuts.
I actually think
What?
it's one of those things where crisps are negative, nuts are neutral. I don't know what is positive, but it's neither of those.
How does fruit fit into this
The
matrix?
fruit thing was... It was very similar to yours. It's very similar to yours. The fruit thing was... He was like, well, do you smoke? I was like, no, I don't smoke. I was like, do you drink? Occasionally. He was like, do you eat fruit? And I was like, yeah, I like fruit. And he's like, try and only eat fruit once a day. And I was like, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I also thought... I mean, obviously the sugars and whatever, but initially I was like, eat fruit. Fruit's good.
Yeah,
Fruit.
yeah.
Stands in the way of protein goals.
Do you
but
exercise? Stop doing that.
yeah, you gotta lay off
You
that.
do P90X, you gotta cut that out.
Maybe if it's plus, but...
What about this? I was lying in bed the other day and...
I've got a dentist one. You're going straight
oh, no, do it.
No, do yours.
No,
Now do
absolutely.
yours and then we'll go back
Absolutely
to
do it.
Tom's
Absolutely do it. It's fine. Rob can cut it out. Rob can cut me out
I'm
completely.
not cutting that out. Put a pin in yours, because then Tom will do the dentist.
Actually,
and we'll go
mine
to yours.
relates to putting a pin in it, yeah. When I went, they get you to fill out the form.
The form.
Yeah, and they're like, how satisfied with your smile are you? And you're like, what? That's the criteria I've ever
I'd forgotten that.
applied. And it was one of the questions is like, have you recently suffered from a serious head injury? And I was like, no. And I give her the
Of course
form.
you would say that.
I give her the form and
Yeah.
she's looking through and she says,
it says here you haven't recently had a serious head injury. And
But I'm looking at you, sir,
I was
and
like-
there's no other explanation.
Exactly. I was like, that's correct. And she gave me this stare like, well, you're lying. And you know that I know that you're lying.
Yeah.
Because I am looking at a man
That's
here
insane.
who is so clearly very recently suffered a very major
Yeah.
trauma to the head.
Trepanning.
You're like,
You've
look
got-
at you, man.
Yeah.
Look at your whole major face injury. And I was like, well, I'm much less satisfied with the quality of my
Yeah.
smile now after this.
I'd like to change a few of my answers.
Smile has
Firm
dropped
feedback.
right off of my
Yeah.
face. That's good. What was the head injury would have stopped you from getting a procedure? Or it just would have helped them understand why you're such
Maybe
a
it
sour
might be an
piece of
X-ray
shit.
thing.
I believe that form is designed for them to get work. I have no basis for saying that, but I think they're like, excellent. We probably saw
Big dentist.
I think if you suffer a major head injury, probably need some dental work.
Right.
And if you haven't,
That's why
Probably need some dental
often you'll see around car crashes, dentists swarm. It's like
straight in.
2 or
There's
3
the-
there,
yeah.
being like, just sign here.
Do you remember when we
Getting
watched this
that tiny-
documentary about the backstreet dentist? What was it? Or was it me and you?
Oh, mate, no.
Where
it
they had
it
a
was-
drawer. Do you
it
remember
was-
it? Because I
was-
won't butcher it.
I think it was all of us. And I think it was Backstreet.
Blood.
I think it was Backstreet surgery.
It was just, yeah, it was,
It was
general.
just.
It was
surgery.
general, but I do think there was a kind of maxillofacial element to what he was offering. I think it was generally. Thank you. I think it was generally cosmetic surgery.
Right.
Was it Brazil?
Butt lifts, stuff like that, boob jobs.
No, actually, you know what? It wasn't.
There was
I think
one
it was,
where
I think
they
it was
opened a
medical
drawer and it
surgery.
was full of blood.
I opened
drawer
up
was
a
full of
drawer
blood.
and it's full of blood.
He was looking for files, but he opened one drawer and he was like, oh,
Yeah.
sorry, that's...
Oh, that's the
sorry, don't look
blood.
in.
It was like a handheld camera thing, and they were following him around. It was the apartment. I think the guy had either been arrested or had run away, and there was like blood on the walls and stuff like that. And they were like, "God, this is gory." Anyway, what's in here? And there was a drawer full of blood.
This is the blood drawer.
Do you remember mums talking about drawers full of things? Do you remember?
There we go. Yeah.
Is that a
segue.
tag?
Here we go.
No.
It's a segue.
It's a seed.
It's a goo. Do you remember Mum's story about her mate who lived for a whole year off of a drawer full of flapjacks, which they made themselves?
Porridge.
Yeah, I mean flapjacks is generous. It was oats and water.
Oats and water in a drawer, like a chest of drawers drawer, which they just bought at the beginning of term, filled it up, and then just ate off of it
Mixed
for the
it,
whole of
mixed
the term.
it formed a kind of flapjack, and then they cut bits of it off.
And apparently it got mouldy quite quickly.
I don't know
but
if
they
I'm
just
remembering this
chop off a bit
correctly.
of mould,
Yeah.
and then just keep digging underneath.
Also, I seem to remember like he developed scurvy,
Well, I
or something like that.
would.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah,
Did he put protein powder in, or how's he hitting
Grow
his
flax,
balls?
mainly flax.
Protein.
I put protein powder into my porridge.
You put protein powder into literally everything, including your pockets.
It's too much.
Your protein pouch.
I'm surprised you didn't crack it out at dinner last night. You were tempted.
I had chickpeas.
Yeah, did you have any protein when
No
you got
protein in those.
Did you have protein when you got home?
I had a protein chocolate bar on the way home. It was quite late, wasn't it?
Those are so
By the time we left,
expensive.
like 11:30 or
Yeah,
something.
a lot of money.
They
Full
are
fill, one of
so
those.
expensive.
They
I
really
reckon
know-
Tom's a carb killer guy.
They
The
really-
grenade thing.
Grenade.
They really know you're coming when you're asking for
Fucking
the
hell.
Yeah,
that
£4.10.
They're like, all right, as much as we
It's
want.
just a chocolate bar.
This is another thing about the mod.
No, it's not just a chocolate bar. It's a lot worse than a chocolate bar.
Soy isolate is a big part of it. There's a lot
It's
of
awful.
that.
It's so awful. And then you bite it open and you look inside and it's got that kind of like
Yeah.
massive like white fudgy like, and you're like, yeah, I guess I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, it's sort of like caramel. Caramel was sick.
Yeah. I'm not only eating chocolate, but I'm also working towards something bigger than myself.
I'm part
Sitting
of
on the tube,
I'm part
improving
of a
yourself.
movement.
Fucking hell, man.
I'm part of those dudes in
And
Scala.
you know the thing about them
You
is
are.
as well, they sell you the idea that one of the flavours is going to be identifiable as the flavour that it is.
Yeah.
White cookie dough. You got rainbow Smarties.
Yeah.
You have
Salted
it. It's
caramel and hazelnut.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
No, they should just write aspartame.
Yeah, exactly. It's absolutely all the same shit.
What else is on the list, Tom? What else have you got?
I'm off in 10 minutes.
Really?
I'm giving you a deadline, yeah.
Leaving hot. He's got a stag.
How about
It's been
I've got a
fire.
stag
should we
boy.
play a
Nothing
FIFA?
but
Should we
fire.
play FIFA before he goes? I haven't written that down.
On the pod, that's on your list.
Yeah.
All right, here's a mildly funny one.
Mildly.
I've got a thing on YouTube where because I looked up some videos on salt, I get these insane salt videos on YouTube where these guys talking about how you can like absolutely maximize salt getting into your food.
It's so easy to do.
So there'll be things like you parboil the thing first in salty water, like then salt it, put it in the oven for a while. I'd put some oil on, but put salt into the oil. Take it out halfway through. You want to whack some salt onto that baby at that point, like just like
why?
salt guys.
What are the health gains?
They're salt guys.
Yeah, they're like big on salt. They're like, there's 3 main salts you need to know about.
Oh my god.
They're like, look, that's even before I get started on umami. That's a whole separate thing.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I didn't know this was a health
Yeah.
movement at all.
it's not a health movement. It's a flavour movement.
Flavor
Oh, this is just for flavour. They're not trying to pretend
Are
it's
you
good
aware
for
of cooking with a salt block? Sorry,
a salt block.
a salt block.
I know about the salt block.
Please carry on.
Stuff like the salt block. Quite a lot of them are like, people say salt brings out the flavour of stuff. That's not true. It tastes of salt, a flavour we love.
And they just high five.
Yeah.
It's like salt, salt, salt.
What I quite like is when you watch those documentaries and it's like, and this is the salt lick.
Yeah,
And there's just animals going,
Yeah, because animals fucking love that salt, man.
Yeah.
They found it. It's like the Shell Grotto. People are just going there. They're like, you heard about this stone over there?
Check it out.
Tastes pretty fucking
Would
good,
you
man.
lick a salty stone? I reckon I would.
I'd lick a salty stone.
I mean, if I was in
Like a restaurant.
dire
If
straits,
they brought out a stone,
No,
they were like,
no.
you were like, sorry, I haven't had one of these before. No problem, sir. Let me explain. First, lift up the stone, and then you just lick it.
no,
You
I
look
feel
round.
like I'm on like a candid camera thing.
You look round,
Really
everyone's
It's like the Seinfeld when they're eating the Snickers bar with knife and fork.
Imagine being on the tube.
That's so good when George does
Yeah.
that, and then his boss.
Yeah.
What's the name of his boss?
Yeah.
The guy who then gets
Brenner.
fired.
Is it Brenner? But he's like, why?
Okay.
How do you eat yours?
Yeah.
With your hands.
What are you doing there, Costanza? Yeah.
Imagine being on the tube and like 3 or 4 people are licking a stone.
A salty stone.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like when I ate food and then just drank a bottle of water. That's what I felt like Japanese people were thinking when they were looking at me when I was in Japan. There's a thing about you can't eat or drink on the metro.
And it's like,
It's kind of it. It's impolite. But again, it's that kind of thing of like it's impolite in
They're
Japan.
not going to say anything.
They're not going to say anything to you.
but they would never do it and they will judge you if you do it.
That kind of thing. It's not even really clear that they're going to judge you. Maybe they just take it as a fact of your existence that you do that.
It's like you
Right.
don't judge a
cow for licking
rolling in the fox.
Yeah.
Just you're fundamentally aware that it's a completely separate species to you.
Right.
One with
yeah.
far lower intelligence.
Different set of goals and yeah.
Somewhere I'm on a Japanese podcast currently, and they're
Yeah.
talking about me and the way that you talked about that cow licking the stone before. Some
And you're
fucking
like-
dude in shorts.
When
Yeah.
I was in Japan, I bought sushi from a 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Standing quite high.
No, it was bad, and also I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like
It's a new low.
yeah, of anywhere in the world to be buying.
I've
sushi.
come all over the world, baby.
I was next to a Japanese man
3
on a
different
flight.
bits of plastic that I had to wrap off before I got to it.
Yeah.
And I assume he's Japanese, but he at one point they did say Mr. Kobayashi. So that's a very Japanese name, so I assume it's Japanese. I was next to him on a flight, and I got the low sodium option just for a laugh.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'll pick that from the drop-down list.
They're not keen on that in the high salt movement.
No.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with the low sodium
High
option.
salt.
It comes with packets of salt. And my food wasn't very salty, so I was salting it up.
Interesting move. You're like Diet Coke, also some sugar
Yeah.
as well, please. 'cause
I'm gonna make my own, man.
Yeah. Could you get me some of that savoury Coke? Also,
Please,
some caramel.
please get me 200 milliliters of aspartame, some caramel flavouring, thiacin, niacin. I'm gonna go rogue, man.
Here's the thing. It was like, do you remember the flight me and you were on, where we were like, here's what we'll do. We'll order
I've got a grievance to swear with
whiskey
you about being on a flight, by
and
the
a
way.
coffee,
Oh wait,
and we'll watch a movie,
a whiskey, a coffee, red wine.
and then we fell asleep.
It was, you know what that was. That Rob is missing a crucial element of exactly that
free
flight.
drinks.
No, it's
It
that
was
I
free
was
drinks, for
I
sure.
was offered an upgrade, and Rob was like, "Listen, man,
Let's hang out.
don't go in that cabin. We're brothers. We can hang out, play cards, drink some coffee, drink some whiskey and some
Yeah.
red wine." It's like 2 sips in, Rob's like
Pretty good.
that, mouth wide open, completely asleep. some other pricks in my fucking extended legroom
Yapping
thing.
it up.
Yeah.
Sending something
We had a
back
great
for you.
time.
Eating sachets of salt as they will.
Well, actually, interesting you say that. The time when I flew to Japan, Susie's work paid for her, but not for me.
Oh.
So I flew economy, and she flew in the fancy one.
That's rough. Could you go and visit her?
No, but she could come and visit me. It only goes one way.
Oh my god! I swear there's a curb where that happens. But anyway, to finish my story, I was sat next to Mr. Kobayashi.
Mr. Kobayashi.
And it became apparent that he had declined the meal option and was just drinking water.
Oh.
And so I'm next to him going, red wine and
Hey Kobayashi, you gotta try this low sodium beef. It's delicious.
and I'm crackers, there's bread and butter and
Scratching himself.
What's the matter? You didn't like the look of the food? Could have got me some. Kobayashi.
he just takes a sip of water, not even judging me, but
Yeah, that is so good, man. I wish I had even a minute iota of that self-control.
of Mr. Kobayashi.
Of Mr.
He knew
Kobayashi.
what he was doing.
He's a good YouTube one I've started watching. He's this minimalist in the north of Japan. He's a teacher.
Oh, yeah, you told me
But he's got like tens of thousands of subscribers. Not big, but like
Big enough.
and he's on the content train as well. You can see. So it's like he's coming up with new ideas for videos. Not that easy when you're a minimalist. Watch one.
Low key, great punchline.
That's really good. That's really good.
Watch one the other day. He was like 10 more things I've got rid of this year. Yeah,
Running out.
And one of them was the sofa. And he's like, I think, why do you need a sofa? And showed a picture. It's an entirely empty room, and he's just sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
With his wife and children, like. I also got rid of plates.
Yeah.
Knives and forks.
My wife is also saying that she's going to get rid of me, but in a way, I think I could spin that.
logical
I
extension.
could spin that into 10 hours of
He was
content.
like, the good thing about getting rid of the sofa is it's meant I also can get rid of my Hoover. He doesn't have a Hoover.
No, man.
No, it doesn't.
Lint in the corners, boy.
Wait, but hold on.
He's got
brush.
He's got a brush.
He's got to get rid of the brush. It's reductio ad absurdum. Eventually, everything will be
You don't
gone.
need the
real
brush
pushing
stick.
for it.
It's very Beckett. It's very Beckett, isn't it?
yeah.
But you don't need the brush stick, do you?
Yeah.
You could just
What,
do
just
the
the
head.
pan.
There's the stick and the brush and the brush and the stick and the sofa and the room and the YouTube and the
Getting rid of the
Yeah.
sofa
and
is
brush
so nuts. Unless he's got the best floor in the world with some kind of sofa thing cut into it.
He does not.
I've got a question for the minimalist guy though. What is his fucking content production setup like?
Right.
Is he
You
two
think that's
angles?
minimal?
He's got a ring light. He's got a tripod.
Definitely. He's got a shotgun mic. He's got a boom.
It's interesting. It does seem well lit.
It really. When he's in the room on his own, it's not like.
It's not like the next video he uploads is going to be like shaky cam footage and he's like, I got rid of the,
Yeah.
the setup. That's not happening. He's keeping that, right?
He's relying on his neighbour's CCTV footage, which is showing him getting another chair and throwing it out.
He's like, my next video's on ring cam.
Yeah. Can you? He rings the doorbell. Don't answer it. Just let it run. Let it run for a bit. Can you press screen record on your thing?
There's a 30-second limit. I'll just keep ringing.
Yeah.
Just, please.
Hello. I got rid of my keys. I like that. I do find it always when the minimalist thing. It's always really. It never ceases to shock me the level of stuff that they get rid of though. I'm downsizing. I'm down to even 10 t-shirt or whatever it would be.
Yeah.
Or they're putting the stuff
You're
in
the
boxes.
most minimalist out of us three, for sure.
I think Tom would be much more minimalist than me, but
He can't be bothered.
is forced to by his circumstances to have lots of stuff.
You got loads of
There's no
kids.
chance.
Neither
lots
of your
of
kids
stuff.
are minimalist?
No,
They're maximalists.
They want things.
You'd
yeah.
be worried about the minimalist kid, I think.
Yeah. Do you want?
Yeah,
do you want a
that's true.
toy? No. My imagination's sufficient.
Oh my god. Where are you
What
going
do you
to...
want for Christmas? Nothing.
Yeah.
Daddy, can you
Just
empty
some-
my room?
Yeah.
Standing in the middle of it.
What do you want
She's
for
asleep
Christmas?
when she's standing up.
Just some more
Yeah.
index tracker funds.
For you to remove my bed.
Yeah. The greatest.
She'll
gift
no
of
longer
all.
need it.
Okay.
He got rid of his laundry basket. That was one.
He's got a washing machine though.
He puts the clothes directly into the washing machine.
And then, where does he hang them up to dry?
The same thing that's like
He
his
sleeps on.
clothes.
Which is the floor.
It's the perfect system.
It's a perfect system. I was
What's
like,
that in The Simpsons? We'll just eat directly over the faucet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm like close to, but I mean I'm a few months away, but I'm like close to moving house, and one of the things that I've noticed moving into this place was that feeling of having loads of stuff on the floor, and the minute you get, and you're like, this is pretty much all right, and you get what it could literally be like that cardboard box or like one tiny stand. You do it, and you're like, my whole life has changed. I'm putting things up, things are squared away. It's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
It's quite sombering, isn't it? Because you're like, it's the equivalent of buying the like going to the stationery shop and like buying a notepad. And you're like, yeah, I'm gonna make lists.
Yeah.
I'm
My
on
life
top-
will
I'm
now
probably
be based on this
probably
notepad.
on top of things.
Yep.
You're like, actually, the deep chaos within me
Yeah.
always reigns.
We have to end on a high.
Okay.
So one more bit, and then off you pop.
One more bit. Okay.
Yeah, do your bit.
I've got a bit. I've had a thing that I thought, and then also it ties into all of these grievances that we've been airing,
Which there are many.
and that is, I think you are a good example
Oh
of
God, me. Okay.
someone
what?
who I texted about on the thing, but like
Better
you're,
not be my outfit.
you're a good example of a slob. You're a good example of someone who, it doesn't matter how many times you recommend something, you'll never follow the recommendation. And it ties into a broader thing, which is
Challenge.
the work of recommending someone something never correlates to the satisfaction that you get from when they see it, which is very rare, because most of the time, if you bother to follow up, they're like, nah, I didn't really
Sure.
get around to it. Got quite a lot of other. It's not even like they've got quite a lot of other content. It's not really clear. They could even go to you and be like, I'm looking for a show. I'm looking for a podcast.
Right. This is a very nebulous attack.
do something.
You just sort of. What are you saying about me?
It's set, man.
Let me.
He's spot on.
Can I have an example?
Well, okay, yes. Succession.
Love it.
Yeah. Since season one,
That annoyed me so much.
I'd say at various times,
Yeah.
I and Tom have been like, go watch Succession, man. And this is like as bait as it gets, but there's lots of other ones.
Sure. I'm sure there are.
Look, we're airing grievances, aren't we?
Thoroughly.
It's going to change.
This is how you decide
I'm going to change the airing of the grievance until I'm complimenting you for being independent-minded or something like that.
Well done for accepting my Succession recommendation. As a side note, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But but you know, at least you don't say like, I'll have a look at that. You're like, nah, it's not for me. Succession, you're absolutely mad about it now,
My
and that
favourite
is.
TV show.
But it's like a lot of emotional work, I think, to recommend someone something, and it's very rare
I'll
that you get
pour
the
you.
payback from it.
How about this, mate? All right.
Okay.
For airing grievances.
Whoa!
How about this? You'll post a little thing in our group being like, guys, podcast recommendations.
Yeah.
And I will dig into my archive.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
find
yeah.
something that I've listened to, 10 months ago, and I've gone through it, and I'm like, this. What do I hear back? Bubkiss.
Yeah, it's
Nothing.
terrible recommendations, Rob. Always.
Apart from Sweet Bobby, which he listened to and thought was great. Okay?
it's not
So
a
not
reflection
terrible
on you.
recommendations.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'm really bad at texting. I'm really, really bad at
Me
texting.
too. Tom's worse, though, don't
I'm
worry.
amazing at texting.
Tom's good at texting, but you're always on your phone.
I'm a hero. I'm a texting hero.
Yeah. I don't think you're good at texting, though.
No, you're shit texting.
I think you're good at your phone.
I will
No,
agree,
he's bad at his phone.
agree to disagree.
No, he's good at his phone, but his phone has a bad effect on him.
How about this? His phone's good at him.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Bill Gates is good at him.
No
Wait,
squid. You
Bill
see
Gates
that?
or Steve Jobs? Bill Gates or Steve Jobs? That's quite
That's how
deep
we'll
cut.
end.
I don't know if how relatable that
That's
is.
how you want to end? This is how we're going to end it.
Clank of the buckle.
Right, okay.
As well.
Jem, you got to go. Tom, I got to beat you again at FIFA.
Fairly well.
Thank you very much, boys, for coming on to
In my ears, the outro
pod.
music's playing. What you got? What kind of outro music you got?
Outro music it will be the same as every single episode, unless you'd like to request a
Something
particular
special?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom's touching my equipment, which I don't appreciate.
I'm DJing at a wedding next week. The same one that was on the Stag Do. You know that song that goes, "I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm seeing in my way." That one.
Okay,
All right.
I'll do it.
There we go. Rights pending.
Adios.
And then it goes back to the same one as always.
Sweet.
I'm alive, a man with a second face, and I'm ready all to
Thanks for listening to the show. If you've enjoyed it, please give us 5 stars and consider becoming a subscriber and maybe even supporting us on Patreon. Really, really, really helps me continue making this show. If you haven't enjoyed it, then you can fuck off. Many, many thanks to Nils Hennis Steer for the amazing music and to Dave Fox for the cool artwork. Please keep coming back every week for more Bliss of the Abyss.
Message 1.